in Nigeria, we like free things. We like free things. Free giveaway, free data, free everything. If it is free, they do not care how it's coming. They want it. You do not know the free passwords. You do not know who is behind those passwords and who is behind those Wi-Fi rather. So, for example, I tell people when you go to airports, to public places especially, when you go to airports, to restaurants, to hotels, to apartments, schools, you should learn to protect yourself when you're in such an environment.
All right, good morning and welcome to the Big Story on Daybreak Live, where we explore the conversations. And of course, we bring to you so many things that interest you on this show. Don't forget, this is Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Of course, we'll bring you conversations that matter most to your world today. In an era where our lives are increasingly connected, from online banking and shopping to social media and remote network. The question is no longer, are you online, but are you safe online? Today we are diving into a critical discussion, how to stay safe in the digital age. Everyday habit for cyber hygiene. Your digital safety is only as strong as your daily habits. And today we will learn how to build those habits the right way. Samson Balogo is my name, and thank you for staying tuned. Now, let's get straight into it. According to the Nigerian Communication Commission, over 150 million Nigerians access the internet daily, a number that continues to rise as smartphones and digital services become more accessible. But with the digital expansion comes increased vulnerability. Reports show that Nigerians, and of course Nigeria loses about 200 billion naira annually to cybercrime, ranging from phishing scams to data breaches and online fraud. Across the world, experts warn that human error, weak passwords, careless clicks, oversharing remains the biggest threat to cybersecurity. That's where today's conversation is timely. We are focusing on cyber hygiene, the simple, consistent habits that keep your digital life clean and secure. All right, joining us to unpack this is Isaac Afolabi, an experienced cybersecurity analyst who works with an international organization to protect critical digital systems and data from evolving threats. Beyond his day job, Isaac is passionate about cybersecurity education and community awareness. He has hosted sessions on radio and volunteered across communities to teach people practical steps to stay safe online. His mission is clear: to make cybersecurity knowledge accessible to everyone, empowering individuals to guard themselves in this over-connected world, and of course, we can say ever-connected world. Today, we'll explore some practical questions. How can we recognize online threats before they catch us off guard? What are the safest habits for our passwords, social media, and devices? And how can individuals and organizations stay proactive rather than reactive in defending their data? Stay tuned. It's going to be an eye-opening discussion, and most definitely there's a lot to talk about on this show this morning. Isaac, good to have you in the studio.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us on this show this morning.
Yeah, thank you very much for
having me. As I said earlier, it's going to be an eye-opening one for our viewers out there.
Right.
But let's start from this end. What is cybersecurity?
Thank you very much, Samson. My name is Isaac Afolabi, a cybersecurity analyst. And in a layman's language, I will put it that cybersecurity is the protection of our digital lives and our assets. For example, before you came here this morning, or before you slept last night, you probably locked your gates, you locked your car, you locked your front door. Some even locked the door of their rooms. They are protecting themselves and their assets. So same thing comes online. We need to learn to protect ourselves from cybercrime, cyber attacks, and every other form of attacks that comes in. So basically, I just want to put it in that simple term.
Now let's move on to cyber hygiene. What is cyber hygiene?
Well, it's still intertwined with what I just said. So cyber hygiene is also more like protecting yourself from unforeseen circumstances online, such as protecting your passwords and the like. So basically, that's the way I would just put it as cyber hygiene.
Okay, now let's delve straight into the heart of today's topic. And there's so much to talk about, especially when it comes to cyber hygiene. Now, how would you describe the current state of cybersecurity awareness among everyday internet users in the country as we speak?
In the country, well, I would say it's very low, because most people, when you tell them, for example, let me say, most people, when you tell them do not use public Wi-Fi, or if you use public Wi-Fi, you should actually be connected to a VPN. Most people feel like it's stress. It is not needed. That's one thing everybody thinks. They think they are safe because they are not the point of interest, but they do not understand that there could be a cumulative form of attack that involves you if you are not protected.
So some believe cybersecurity mainly for organizations and not for individuals. So what's the difference? So because it's a belief, it's a general belief out there, and some people will think, oh, I don't really care. It's for organizations who have so many things to guard, and it doesn't really affect me.
Yes, that's a very true statement. Most people believe cybersecurity is for the experts, it's for the organizations, the big companies, the big tech companies, and the likes. But bringing it into play, cybersecurity is, as long as you have your data online, like you have some mobile applications you registered on, some social media applications you registered on using your details. Literally, you need to understand the basics of cybersecurity, how to protect yourself online. So I'm here to cut short the myth that cybersecurity is just for IT experts. It's not for IT experts. Yes, IT experts will be the one to help you protect your data, protect the data of the big organizations, but each individual have a role to play when it comes to protecting themselves online.
So now let's get straight into it. What are the basic cybersecurity hygienes that individuals, organizations, businesses can actually go into that will make their data get safe?
Okay, let me just give like 3 or 4 instances, or 3 or 4 points rather. Starting from passwords, I can say you might also be a victim. Most people use passwords because most people use big passwords because they feel it is convenient for them.
Easy to remember.
Yeah, easy to remember for them. And what they don't just even stop there by using big password. They now use it across all accounts. So from
Same
their
password for all
accounts, and that is one cyber hygiene that most people are not practicing today in Nigeria. You need to understand that your password could actually be breached. You are not, like I said earlier, you might think you are not the point of interest, but there might also be a cumulative attack, and if your password is not strong enough, you might also be affected. And what I tell people is, we are human, we are liable to forget. So I tell them that what they should do is ensure that you have a password manager. A password manager helps you keep all your passwords in one place. When you have a complex password, it's difficult for you to remember 2, 3, 4, 5 complex passwords.
Different passwords.
So it's best to have a password manager. When you put it in there, and literally it saves. So all you just need to remember from time to time is just the password to your password manager. So that way you are protecting yourself from any unforeseen circumstances of any cyber attack. And another instance I would say is, which I mentioned earlier, is the public Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Most people connect to public Wi-Fi and they use it to open their sensitive information, such as their banking apps and the like. So it is very wrong because you do not know. Okay, let me start by saying this. In Nigeria, we like free things. We like free things. Free giveaway, free data, free everything. If it is free, they do not care how it's coming. They want it. Most people walk miles just for free data, use free. So things like that are not cyber. They are not the rules of the cyber hygiene. You need to protect yourself at all instances because you do not know the free passwords. You do not know who is behind those passwords and who is behind those Wi-Fi rather. So for example, I tell people when you go to airports, to public places especially, when you go to airports, to restaurants, to hotels, to apartments,
school hostels too, sometimes.
schools, you should learn to um, protect yourself when you're in such an environment. But most people just feel like they want the free thing, they like it and all that. So it's not a good cyber
Not
hygiene.
safe.
Yeah, it's not safe. And another point I'll give again is most people tend to ignore cyber security. Most people tend to ignore software updates. They feel like it's not necessary. Why should they update their devices and all that? That's a very wrong perspective when it comes to cyber hygiene. For example, in 2017, there was a ransomware that actually hit Windows users. And that was because Windows released an update, but because most people did not update their devices, they were exploited through the previous version of Windows in 2017, and a whole lot really happened. Companies lost millions of dollars into that just because of that simple attack. So as simple as it is, update your devices regularly. And one thing I always say is, whenever I tell people to update their devices, I tell them, when your phone gives you a notification that a software update is available, do not rush to update your devices. Because here is the thing: when you rush to update your devices, those softwares are built by humans like you, not AI yet. Most softwares are built by humans, so it's bound to have vulnerabilities and bugs. So most people, they should actually take their time when they release those updates. Is the feedback they get, they will use to work on the updates before they push out another update. So always give it time, give it like few weeks, 2-3 weeks before you now update the device. So it's not like you get a notification today, you are rushing to update it because you want to keep yourself safe. Although you might be safe, and there might also be some form of bug or vulnerabilities in those softwares.
How about some devices that are on auto updates?
Yeah, you should actually remove the devices on auto updates. You should actually remove it. It's your device, you should learn to monitor it. So basically, that's just for the cyber hygiene in those aspects I just mentioned.
So you spoke about passwords. How often should an individual change, update passwords?
Yeah, thank you very much. I forgot to mention that you should change your passwords regularly, irrespective of the fact that you use password manager. Change your password every 3 to 6 months. It's a culture to protect yourself online. Change your password every 3 to 6 months. So that way you're protecting yourself from unforeseen circumstances or any form of cyber attack in any way.
So now there is a case of carelessness too. Some people do not care. They give their passwords to different people per time. Even ATM cards, everyone knows some people's ATM card passwords. They just give it to people, oh, get me some money, and that's it. Is that hygiene? No,
that's not hygiene, because whoever the person is you are giving your ATM card to help you withdraw, you can equally transfer to the person to withdraw for you. So I tell people that for your ATMs, some people just, I've seen scenarios where people just wake up in the morning like this and they are getting debit alerts. You don't even know, those people did not even give their ATM cards to anybody, and they are wondering, okay, where is this debit coming from? I did not make any form of payment online, this and that. So coming to that, I usually tell people you should not use your ATM if it is not in banks. Because because if it's not in banks, you should literally not use your ATM, because well, we have a lot of agents around, so you do not per se, you just rush in there and I want to withdraw money, I want to withdraw. It's literally not safe, because if anything goes, because those machines could actually, some people manipulate their machines and
you get programmed
to not just passwords, but to save the information of your
details
of your ATM card. So it's best most of the time, whenever you need urgent money and all that, you should actually learn to make a fast transfer. It's best that way. That's another form of cyber hygiene that I believe most people make those mistakes. Actually, I was also doing that. But literally, we learn every day. So you should actually learn to ensure that you take note of these things. They are very important, because like I said earlier, you would think you're not the point of interest until you become the point of interest. Then you would understand that you're not safe.
Okay, and now how can one identify and avoid phishing mails?
Well, okay. Let me put it like this. For phishing mails, I I receive phishing mails a lot. I receive phishing mails a lot. But for people out there, one thing you should always do is if it is an email that comes in, do not be in a rush to read the email. No matter where you are or how urgent you feel the information you need is, always read an email 2 to 3 times, no matter how long it is, no matter how compelling it is. Some people, there are some sentences attackers put into an email that would push you, that will give you a sense of urgency, a sense of action to take immediately. Okay, sometimes last week I received an email. It was a genuine email because I had to do my findings before I clicked on anything. I had to do my findings. I received the email. It was a sense of urgency from an application that I use, but I was furious about it, and I had to do some further research, do some further investigations on it before I decided that okay, I think this is a real email. So my point is to identify real emails. It will always tell you it will push to you a fear of urgency. Number one. Number two, there might be some grammatical errors, but attackers are getting smarter daily now. You can easily use AI to put together the English. Number two. Number three, whenever you receive an email, always look into the drop down. When you look into the drop down, where you see you look for the sender's email. When the sender email, try to confirm if it is legit from the sender, because you might have been receiving emails from that particular organization or application. So you would know if it is a genuine email. Some might be something.xyz. You should obviously know it is not coming from the real organization. So that way people should actually, because in Nigeria we have a very high rate in which people click phishing links. Even people working in organizations, even cybersecurity experts do that. They click phishing mails. So, and I believe most organizations now in Nigeria, what they do is they do phishing campaigns for their staff, and they ensure their staff run through trainings on how to understand phishing emails and ensure that they do not click it. So apart from those trainings, they also do phishing simulations. When you do the training, they'll do the simulation to understand it, to know if you understand the training you just took. So when you click the malicious mail again, you go back to the training again and again. So that's what they do in most organizations in today's world in Nigeria.
All right. Some of us live on our phones.
Yes.
It's basically one of the live kits we have that are very important, and some of us cannot do without the phone because practically the office is on the phone. Right. Now, if you are the type who uses your phone so much, how important is two-factor authentication and so many other tips that one can actually use to stay safe online?
Okay, yeah. About the two-factor authentication, I would say it is as important as you using a complex password. It's equally important, because the password you think you created and you think is complex can also be breached. Okay. So, but once the password is breached and you have a two-factor authentication enabled, you should actually, you would obviously, because when the password is breached, it will require the two-factor authentication before the user is allowed. So, but if the two-factor authentication is not there, obviously you've granted the user free entry. So for most people now, what they do is, I tell most people, what you should do is ensure you use two-factor authentication on all your applications. If it is finance, if it is your finance app or your social media apps, because you might think your social media app is not important since it is not your financial application, and then look into it and say, okay, it is not my financial application, I do not need. But you do not know that people, they can actually get into your social media apps and coerce people to send them money, because they will obviously believe it is you. Right. They will obviously believe it is you. So That's just it. Thank you.
How can, before we go, how can one know that the device has been hacked?
How can
What
one
are
know?
the things you notice that, oh, my phone has been hacked?
The thing is, your phone in the actual sense cannot be hacked. I would not say it cannot be hacked, but it requires a level of advanced technology to want to hack just an individual. But you understand, like some applications can be hacked. Some other things on your devices can be hacked. But let's put it in the layman's language that let's say your phone device is hacked. What you should do is ensure you always change your password. Whenever your device or your social or any account is hacked, ensure you try to change your password, your device password or the application's password. Ensure you change the password, since that's what we talked about, two-factor authentication. Because on your phone, you obviously more like have two-factor authentication. You have your Face ID, you have your password, you have your fingerprint and the likes. So those are different forms of authentication on your device. So what I tell people is, whenever you know that, okay, an account of yours has been hacked on your device, ensure that you change the password to that account. Ensure you change the password, you reset the password to that account. That way it will give you leverage, to give you time, it will buy yourself time. You would literally buy yourself time to take other actions before anything happens.
Now, what is the role of the government in all of this?
Well, I would say I do not want to I do not want to say the government are not making much efforts, because you see, cybersecurity is it has evolved so much that even secondary school students that use devices understand how these things work. You understand? So one thing I believe they should do is, government should do is, they should inculcate this into curriculums in secondary schools. One of the things I do is I go to secondary schools to talk about cyber security. So one thing they should do is inculcate, one thing the government should do is inculcate cyber security in their curriculum, so that those students will understand what the outside world is when they leave secondary school. Because you understand, the university is a different program on its own. So they should learn to understand what it is from the they should learn to understand the basics. When they understand the basics, they can literally further on it once they leave secondary school. So that's one thing I know the government has not been doing. They've not been empowering the youths, or I would say the teenagers, let me put it like that way, the teenagers in that aspect. So I believe the government should work on that.
Okay, before we go, Isaac Afolabi, what's your 2 cents for our viewers this morning?
On cybersecurity?
Right.
Thank you very much. So, like I said, keep yourself safe online. As long as you might think you're not the target, but as long as you have your data, you have your mobile device, you registered on some applications, you're equally more like a target. So do not write it off. Ensure you stay safe. Do not click links online because it's saying this is free, that is free, there's a free job somewhere, there's a free data somewhere. I know people do that broadcast a lot. There's a free data somewhere, so you should learn not to click it. Always verify the source. Have zero trust in anything you do. Have zero trust in anything you do or you see online. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you for being on the show this morning. It has been an eye-opening session with you.
Thank you very much.
We'll bring you back some other time to discuss further on cyber security on this style.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Isaac, for joining us on the show. And that's where we draw the curtain on the big story today. Remember, cybersecurity starts with you. And of course, every strong password, and of course, every cautious click, and every software update counts towards building a safer digital community. A big thank you to my guest this morning, Isaac Afolabi, for sharing his insight and reminding us that staying safe online isn't just for IT experts. It's a shared responsibility. Until next time, I'm Samson Balogun, reminding you that think before you click and stay secure as you stay connected. This is The Big Story on Daybreak Live.